Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to lurk in CS2. So first let's start with what is a lurker. A lurker is a role in CS2 that you are going to have on your T side. In my opinion it's a role that is necessary to have, and you need to have a player who is able to lurk. So what a lurker will be is somebody who is going to play alone most of the time. He's going to make presence, make fakes, hold for pushes, or even go for backstabs. Let's talk a little bit about what positions the lurker is going to play. Here on Mirage, an example for that would be A lurk. So the A lurk would play either powers or ramp. You also have the B lurk, but B lurk is something which is a bit more different from the traditional lurk, and this is somebody who is probably going to be your star player, and you're going to give this position to your star player, even though it's considered lurk. A more traditional lurker, you can think about robs, you can think about spinks. This type of players will play towards A. So what the job of the lurker will be is, in the early round he can either throw conditioning utility or make presence, and it's very good if he makes presence in the first rounds. So that can be, as an example for the lurk, he can throw some kind of a smoke. So let's say even if he's around here, he can throw some kind of a lurk smoke like this. That's going to allow him to go out towards Tetris and try to maybe find a kill. But what he can also do is he can just throw the smoke, throw a flash over, and just not do anything with it actually. So you're going to throw this, you're going to throw a flash over, and nothing is going to happen. You're going to just stand, you're going to hold for a push. You do this 2 rounds, and after that you can actually try to do something. You can try to jump on top of the bricks here and try to get a kill. You can go on Tetris and try to get a kill. And what you did in this way is you made the enemies think that you throw the smoke, you throw a flash, and then you stay back. But this time you're actually going out and you're trying to find a kill. So this conditions your enemies to think that the smoke does nothing, but you actually use it after that and do something with it. Another thing that you can do that would be even better actually is to throw a smoke city, and when the smoke lands you can throw a flash over. Not like this, but like this over, or you can throw it with the lineup like this. So what you can do in this way is, when you throw this utility, again you don't go for anything, you just hold for a push. And what is going to happen most likely is either ramp is going to get mollied, powers is going to get mollied, something is going to get smoked. Your opponents are going to burn some of their utility. And after you do this for 2 or 3 rounds, the enemies are no longer going to react, because they see that this is something you do every round and you don't really do anything after that. So what you can do is throw this utility, have 3 people in the ramp, or somebody else can even throw it. 3 people in the ramp or 4 people in the ramp and 1 person in powers. So you can go in powers and somebody else can throw the same utility. But this time when you throw that utility with the flash, the people are going to run out and you're just going to pop on the side and you're going to have 1 or 2 more flashes coming over. In this way the enemies will not be ready for it, because they learn that when you throw the smoke and this flash nothing happens, you just stay back. But if you do it 3 rounds and just stay back, and then you do it on the 4th that you just pop out with your teammates, that's going to be a successful round, and that is part of your job as a lurker and something that you can do. Another important thing is to make presence in the early round. So what you can do to make presence is, let's say if you're in powers, you can just throw a Molotov towards under powers, and that Molotov is going to tell the enemies that you are in powers and they cannot take this area for free. Or you can also throw the lurk smoke, you can throw some kind of flash south of ramp from here, or just throw it over like this. Just throw some kind of utility that tells your enemies that you are there and this is not free. So they cannot just go in and take this position, because there is a person there, and next time when they want to push something, they're going to think about, well, there is a player who is either ramp or powers, so it's going to be risky to push that. Let's try to go somewhere else and push something. And if you made the same kind of presence on B as well, and if the enemies know that you're taking mid, then they'll be scared to push anything, because they know there are players everywhere and there are players who will hold. So they will be more scared, they will spend more resources when pushing, they will throw multiple flashes, smokes and things like this, and they will push with 2 people, so they will leave some other spot on the map weaker. Another important thing is, now think about what your enemies could push. Because yeah, you make presence, you do everything, they might be a bit scared, but they will still push something at some point. So thinking about what your enemies are going to push is, as an example, on the second round, there is some chance, let's say your enemies, if you want a pistol round, there is a chance your enemies push ramp, okay? That's something people do. Sometimes they push with 3 ramp, 2 powers, or split up in some other way. So what I like to do personally is, on the second round, when I know that they might push ramp, I actually go in powers. And the reason for that is, there could be an isolated player, so it could be 1 player, or it could be 2 players in powers, and I want to kill those players. And if they actually push ramp, I would have heard that. And if I hear that, then I can just shift back, and 99% of the time they're not going to look in your direction, and you can just shoot them in the back. And in different rounds, I would like to sometimes switch up my position depending on a few things. Sometimes I know that my enemies are probably not going to push, and they don't have a tendency to push. In that case, I'm going to play whatever I feel comfortable for searching kills in that round. Because something a Lurker can do in the mid round, if things are going badly, or even if they're not going badly but you want to find an advantage, is you can go for picks. And this leads me into my second thing, which is going to be the mid round. So in the mid round, what you're going to do is you have a few options. You can either search for kills, so from a ramp, let's say, you can search for kills in this way. You're going to just clear out some angles, you're going to try to find somebody, you're going to clear out the angles, and if you don't find anyone, you're just going to keep moving up, and then you're going to either sit on a position, or you're going to try to take some further map control towards con, or maybe even you can go towards city if you had the positioning. But you're just going to go out and try to find the kill, and if you find the kill, you're going to try to keep the control. So if you find the kill, let's say on a player default, then what you can do is you can throw some kind of a smoke towards top con, you can throw a flash over, you can mole towards jungle. Just use your utility to try and stop the rotations and block off players that might try to kill you. So with this utility, you're going to stop the rotation from jungle. The con player is going to be scared to go out because he doesn't know if you're alone. The flash is going to blind him if he tries to go out. And this utility allows you to move into a better position, which will allow you to hold the side better until your teammates come towards your side. Or you can use that utility just to fake, because in that case, most likely enemies are going to try to rotate, and they might leave the other side weaker. And that's up to your IGL. He will decide if you want to go to that side, or if you want to go to the other side, also depending on enemy tendencies and what you have done previously. Something that for me is very important is that when teammates are coming to your side, you are still a Lurker, you are not an entry-fire, so most of the time you will not want to go first unless you feel like you have some really good timing. Because going in first is not what you are good at, it's not something that is your specialty, it's not your thing. So why would you go in first instead of your entry-fire? So if you are from powers, it's very important in positions like powers on Mirage and taps on Inferno is a very similar position. You don't want to run out and you don't want to die first. You never want to die first. You want to wait for your ramp teammates to go out first, so they'll make contact first, and after they make contacts, let's say you throw a smokes and your teammates are going out with flashes and everything, and there's a person side that is shooting at them. So let's say he doesn't even kill anyone yet, he just shoots at your teammate, and your teammate goes behind here. So like, let's say he was triple and your teammate was crossing here, so the enemy shot at him, but he hit him once or twice, didn't kill him. What you do is, in that case, you swing out and you get the trade, because what this guy is going to think is, okay, one guy crossed to default, let me hold like this so I can kill him. Or he might think, okay, let's check here and then go back in here to peek, and in that time you're swinging from powers and if he peeks out, if the city peeks out, you are going to kill him first, because you are from a position that he doesn't expect and he doesn't have his crosshair on you. And even if he kills your teammate, you still swing out and you still get the trade, because you are making him switch his crosshair too much, because he's aiming here, shooting here, or shooting here, and then he has to somehow flick to your head, and he doesn't have the time because you know exactly where he is. And now imagine you went out first, so you're making steps, you're jumping out, you're dead, because you're alone, you drop down, he picks, he kills you with pre-fire, easy enough. And in the other case, when your teammates are running out, he's going to be more overwhelmed, and then you're peeking from a position that is on a different height, on a different place, and you can easily get the kill. And it's very similar on Ups in Inferno. When your teammates are coming from short, you don't want to go out first, you want to wait for your teammates to make contact, and that's when you peek and that's when you get the trades, because your job is not to enter frag, your job is to trade. So that's what you're doing when your teammates are executing your side. You're trading, you're not entering fragging, and in some cases you'll be supporting, you'll be throwing some kind of utility. But the most important thing that you're always going to do is trade or hold angles for your teammates. So the other thing, holding angles, if you throw the smokes, it's common knowledge that players are going to like to either drop into sandwich and push towards bench. So what you can do is you can hold towards sandwich like this. If somebody tries to drop from stairs, you're just going to kill him, or you can hold from here to just kill anyone who is pushing bench, or you can even hold the city smoke in case somebody tries to push out of the city smoke. Something important about the first rounds of the game is that you should be lurking when your teammates are executing the other side. So if you're the lurker on Mirage and your teammates are going B, what you want to do is you want to stay lurking either towards A or towards mid. So what you're going to do is when your teammates are executing B, you can either try to peek out here and try to kill somebody, or you can rotate towards mid, and then from mid you're going to try to either just peek towards con or hold an angle like this, peek towards window, just try to in some way cut the rotation. And if you do that, if you cut the rotation in the first few rounds, once or twice, now what is going to happen is the enemy is going to worry about that every single time they are rotating. So they'll slow down their rotations, they'll be afraid to rotate through mid, and they'll just stack up in kitchen. You're going to mow them down when they're going on the side. They're going to use flashes if they want to rotate through mid. They'll be worrying about the backstab all the time. So you're going to create unnecessary fear in your opponent, so they're going to be afraid of you all the time, and that's when you can just start going with your teammates. And you can just go with 5 people onto the B side, and it's going to be a really easy entrance. And your enemies don't know that you're exactly 5 most of the time, so they're going to still be worrying about you, because you could be lurking somewhere again. Something else very important is faking. So when your teammates are going towards B again, and you're the lurker, you want to throw some kind of a smoke that will signal that you might be going towards A. So that could be a top con smoke, it could be some kind of a city smoke. This one is the best, like this. It can be a jungle smoke, it can be whatever smoke you want, and then some kind of other utility. So maybe you can throw a flash over, maybe you can even try to go out and search for a kill, you can try to molotov something like this, you can molotov towards triple. In general, kinds of utility that are signaling that you are going to go out on the site and you're going to try to basically enter the site. That's going to fake your enemies. It's going to make them use utility, it's going to make them rotate, and it's going to make them make the B side weaker in order to make the A side stronger, because you're throwing utility on the A side and they think you're going to go A. But in reality, you have 4 people towards B waiting for you to make that contact, and as soon as you make that contact, they pop out and they just take towards B. And it's most likely going to be either one player playing on sides and one towards short, or just one completely alone, because you faked and the short player rotated. So faking is going to be very important, and it's going to be a really good thing to do, but you cannot overdo it, because at some point your enemies are going to start to read it and they're going to understand that you're faking. They're not going to make the other side weaker, they're actually going to be even more ready on the other side. Something else you can do in the mid round or in the late round is to backstab. So your teammates are going out B, they're making a lot of presence, and you hear this guy rotating to city. You can either pick him, or if you didn't have the timing or didn't hear anyone, you just go out and you can either drop down or go down the ladder, but dropping down will of course be quicker. And if you don't see anyone and your teammates are on the B side, you're just going to run city, and here you might catch someone. If you still don't catch someone, you're going to run towards kitchen and you're going to start shifting at some point around here. You're going to check the angles, of course, and you're going to walk into kitchen. You're going to find two players with their back turned towards you. That's the most likely outcome, and you're going to kill two players. So that's what backstabbing is in the most general terms, and it's not something that you can consistently do, and it's not something that you can do every round, as I said already, because if you do things every round as a lurker, it's going to be really easy to read you, and it's going to be really easy to predict what you're going to do, so you have to switch it up all the time. Now let's talk about the late round for the lurker. The late round is going to be the time when you're going to find your most impact as a lurker, because this is when you can truly get activated. So in the late round, you're most likely executing a side. If you're executing the A side, then you can get the trades, first of all. So your teammates are going in, your teammate dies to triple, you swing out, and you trade. Okay. After that, what happens is you plant the bomb. And you're the one who is probably going to have some kind of utility if you didn't throw conditioning utility in that round. So it's going to be very important that you use your utility. You can throw some kind of a city smoke, you can throw some kind of a jungle smoke, just some smoke in general that is going to help your teammates, and you can also find lineups from powers for top con smokes, for jungle smokes, for city smokes, for whatever, if you want to play the after plan from powers. And after plans are going to be something that you should have really drilled in as a lurker, and you should know exactly what to do during the after plans, because this is when you're going to most likely be alive, because the lurker is the one who is going to stay alive for the most time usually, together with the opener. So the opener is going to be the iron player who is going to be surviving a lot and has to be good in after plans as well. But as a lurker, you need to understand after plans, and you need to understand how to play after plans. You need to understand crossfires, you need to understand baiting, and you need to understand playing the bomb, playing the time, and how to clutch in an after plant. Because clutching is going to be other thing that has to be a strong point for your lurker, because he's going to, a lot of the times, be last alive. And of course he can practice clutching, he can practice after plants, and he has to do that. But something else that is going to happen just with playing is that he's going to naturally get better at these things, because he's put in those situations consistently. So if you're practicing regularly, your lurker is most likely consistently going to be in after plant situations, and he's going to be in general in late round situations, in clutches, and he's going to start figuring out from experience and just from repetitions what he needs to do and how to play that correctly. So you can naturally get better at that as a lurker, but if you practice it, you're going to instantly be better, and you're instantly going to be getting more impact. And as I said again, this is where the lurker is going to get the most impact, because this is where he is most important. In the early round, you're going to just be holding for pushes, you're not going to do much. If they push you, yes, you might get 1 or 2 kills and then die. That's good, that's some kind of an impact. But in the late round, when you're playing the after plants and you kill 1 or 2 in the after plant, that is completely different and way more impactful than killing one guy who pushed you. Because yes, it's an opening kill, they push you, but it's not the same type of an opening kill as the entering fragger would get. So the entering fragger might get a kill where you're executing K and he kills the anchor. That's a way more important kill than you killing somebody who pushed powers. And in the late rounds, in the clutches, you have to understand how to play the situations. In a clutch, you need to understand how to isolate duels, what positions to play, and in after plants as well, you need to understand what are the good positions to play. So let's say if you have a teammate that is playing towards here or towards jungle, you can play around under powers and hold city. This is going to be something that is not going to be expected by the city side, and they're not going to clear you most likely. You can even get on an angle like on top of the bricks here, like this, and hold city from here. You can find angles like this, you can find angles where your teammate baits for you. So let's say you play a sandwich and you have a teammate ramp, and he takes the first contact, and then if there's somebody else swinging out jungle, so let's say he killed one, and there's somebody else swinging out to jungle, he's going to be pre-aiming ramp, and that's when you get an easy kill. That's a bait and switch setup, which you are using on this side, because there are bait and switch setups on city side of course as well, but on this side that's the kind of bait and switch you're doing. And you can also hide, so your teammate is making presence from powers and you're just hiding in ninja, and then when they come closer and they try to fake the bomb to try to get him go out, you're going to get a kill on the diffuser if they're not holding for you, which they'll most likely not be because they're focused on powers. And if you're in powers, you have to understand as well that you're not always going to be the guy who's hiding and getting the kills. Sometimes you have to be the guy who baits the enemies. So you're going to throw in a few jiggles, just shoot a few bullets, try to get their presence, and then your teammate is going to get the kills, and you'll be just as happy because you're still winning the round. Something else that you can do in the late round is backstab, and I already explained what backstabbing is, but in the late rounds it can be even better, because then the kills that you're going to get are going to get more impact, of course. So that's going to be it for this video. If you learned something new, if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like, and you can subscribe to my channel to not miss out on any upcoming content. Thank you for watching.